Hello everybody, welcome back to Nature Talks. So today is our 27th episode, and today we're going to start with the TED Talks that I was doing recently. In November I did one TED Talks, and in December I did the second TED Talks. It was a Tedx talk, sorry, I think there's a difference. These were both at different locations, one in November, one in December. The one in November was about saving trees and our work with saving trees. The app also, the Save Trees app that we've created. And the second TED Talks was about, the title was to draw a line. Okay, to draw a line to prevent environment degradation. So I won't go over the entire TED Talks right here. You can maybe find it on YouTube. If you search for it, you'll find it. But yeah, one warning I have to give you is that the TED Talks was, I think they had some problem in the editing, so the audio quality is really bad in that. And I've asked them to give me the original file so that I can try to work on the audio in that and then upload it again. Yeah, the audio is really bad, so let's see, try going through it. If you have some questions, let me know. I'll post it in the comments over there. Let those people also know that there's a problem with the audio and they need to fix that. Something that is easily fixable with someone who's got some experience. Okay. So, yeah, that was quite a good experience going for these TED Talks. Always wanted to go for the TED Talks. I've been watching the TED Talks since a long time, like I think more than 10 years, easily more than 10 years, yeah, probably maybe 14 or 15 years. So finally I got a chance to go on the TED Talks, and yeah, it was fun. There were other speakers as well, and we all had a nice socializing time with some refreshments afterwards. But I got to hear different stories of different people. My second TED Talk was really short and sweet. The other speakers, they were, they got into a lot of details about all the good work that they're doing. But my one was significantly shorter because it was to the point, and yeah, it was about drawing a line, because at some point you need to draw a line. Like, how many trees are going to get cut till the point where you draw a line? Is it going to be when you have only 100 trees left, when you have only 10 trees left, or when you have only 1 tree left? At some point you have to draw the line. And right now no one's drawn any line anywhere. Speaking of which, we saw this... there's this piece of news which says that 89,000 hectares of forest land in India has been diverted in the last 3 years. So that's quite a lot of amount. 89,000 hectares. 1 hectare is about 2.5 acres. So 89,000 into 2.5, that's the number of acres of forest land which got diverted all over the country. And yeah, think about it. So much forest land getting diverted for construction projects and all that. And then on the other hand, we get these other reports coming out in the papers about how India's forest cover has increased over the years. So it's quite contradictory. On one hand, we get to hear that thousands of acres and hectares are getting destroyed. And on the other hand, we're getting these official reports that after all this destruction, our forests have increased by like so much percent. So obviously somewhere there's some greenwashing going on. Do you know what is greenwashing? It's whitewashing is when you do the walls of your house. Greenwashing is when you lie about all your environment conservation efforts. So there are many corporates which say that they're doing a lot of great work for the environment, which is usually a lie, and that's called greenwashing. It's sort of like brainwashing also. So it's kind of manipulating people to think that the brand is really amazing, but Actually, they're doing a lot of destruction to the environment. And this is a true fact. If you Google about greenwashing or even go on ChatGPT and search for greenwashing, you'll find a lot of interesting information over there. If you don't know about these things, then you better start knowing about these things. And the more you talk about it, the more change we can bring about together. So on Twitter, I saw this post where it was a video about how to compost leaves. A lot of people in the cities, we don't learn much about composting in school. I mean, it's taught as a chapter when we're young, but nobody actually has that practical experience. They haven't seen it, they haven't tried it out, so they don't actually know about it. A lot of kids coming out of school, they've probably never even seen a compost. So this video, it shows how to compost leaves, and it's so easy. In that video, they say that you just leave the leaves on the ground, don't pick them up, and they get composted by itself. So that's the simplest way to compost leaves. It's not rocket science. You can just leave the leaves down there on the soil, all the leaves which have shed from the trees, let it be there on the soil, and all those leaves are going to turn into nutrition for the soil, which is going to help the trees eventually. And this is what happens in the forest. In the forest, there's nobody there to sweep the floor, so all the leaves get collected on the floor, and as it rains and animals cross over it, different forces of nature act on that, the heat, the moisture and everything. So it breaks down and turns into nutrition for the same trees which dropped those leaves. So it's like a cycle. The tree grows big, drops the leaves go in the soil, makes nutrition, the tree's roots takes that nutrition in and grows more bigger, grows more trees, grows more leaves, more fruit, and the cycle continues. So it's only in cities where people come and sweep up all the leaves, and the trees don't get their nutrition because of that. So that is why we see all the trees falling down in the big cities and not in the forest areas. Places which have a lot of soil around, the roots are much stronger, and the trees are also much healthier and much stronger. What's that? Okay. Yeah, so tomorrow we have this forest healing workshop in Lodhi Garden. It's not exactly a workshop, but more like a forest healing walk. So we're going to walk around in that area. We're going to absorb the energy of the forest. You must be knowing about this Japanese term called Shinrin-yoku, which stands for forest bathing. So they say that just by spending some time in the forest, you will get healed, you will feel much better. And yeah, it's actually true. When we are in a forest, we feel much better. It's more peaceful over there, less distractions, digital distractions, that is. And there's a saying also that if you can't be in a forest and in a bad mood at the same time. So yeah, if you're feeling any anxiety, anger, depression, any kind of negative feelings, so you spend some time in the forest and you'll automatically start feeling better. Now in the end of this month, we're planning to do a mystery event. Do you like mysteries? Well, you can come to this mystery event and help to solve this mystery. Actually, the winner of the winning team, which is going to solve all the mysteries, is going to win a prize. And we're going to be posting more information about this on our social media soon. So, don't miss out on this. Try to participate. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, adventurous. Plus, you get a prize at the end, and it's a great way to have fun on a Sunday here in Delhi. In other Twitter feed news, there was this video shown where someone was flying over the southernmost point of the Nicobar Islands, and over there you can see how beautiful the island is looking, and the beach and the water, and you can see the corals also through the transparent water. Plus you can also see that the construction projects have started over there, and how much of the tree cover is going to suffer because of this. not just the tree cover, even all the wildlife living under all that. It's a tropical area. It's the highest population of wildlife and biodiversity exists in tropical areas. And this place, I've been there, so you get to see a lot of different types of birds, and the trees are also really tall and amazing. So I remember when I was there, I realized that if these tall trees were in Delhi, people would cut those trees because Delhi people don't like tall trees. They get scared of the tall trees and cut the trees down before they can grow taller. It's their anxiety issues. So this happens when you're greatly disconnected from nature. And so Delhi has all the great minds over here. We have all the main decision makers of the country over here, and when they go travel to these beautiful places, then they come up with these amazing plans to destroy the environment over there also. That's why the trees in Nicobar Islands are going to get destroyed. And if we had someone more sensible, probably it wouldn't have been this way. So the same case is going on in the NGT right now. In the recent news, the NGT National Green Tribunal had issued a stay order against the felling of the trees. So for now, the cutting of the trees has been stopped, but there's a panel that has to examine the entire situation, and they're quite excited about cutting all the trees. So whatever plans they have in the future, maybe it's helpful, maybe it's not, but what you're going to lose right now has been there for centuries, and it could have lived there for many more centuries, but it's going to be gone for some man-made objects over there, which will I don't know how it's going to help you. Did I also mention that they want to remove these trees from those islands, and they want to plant them in Haryana, which is like thousands of kilometers away. And they are telling the locals in the islands that you will still get the shade from the trees after we send them away. So it's quite silly. I don't know what kind of age we're living in, why people are so intelligent right now. It's amazing. There was also another post about wires on trees. People had put wires around trees to hang their signboards, and as the trees grew bigger, they grew thicker. Then the wires, they were restricting the tree to grow thicker, and because of that, the wires were cutting through the trees. So over the years, we've seen this before. We see that because of these wires and things basically tied around the trees, constricting the trees, it creates a weak point in the tree. As the tree starts growing, it becomes thick from both the sides, except the part which is inside that ring. And that ring stays narrow for a long time, so it becomes a weak point. And when the wind blows hard, those branches break from those weak points. And a lot of people are enemies of trees. They hate trees because a branch must have fallen on their car one day, so they just started hating all the trees after that. But what they don't realize is it's probably a human's fault that the branch fell in the first place. Maybe it could be because of tying some wires on it, could be because of concrete around the base of the tree, could be even nails in the tree, which causes infections, and hollow parts in the tree, which causes trees to fall down. Those trees can fall down on humans as well, right? On kids who are playing outside. So we need to keep everybody safe. The best way to do that is to protect the trees and the environment. We need to coexist with nature. We got a couple of more quick topics. One thing was in Noida, there was a video recently where this man was beating some dog, and then there were two ladies in that neighborhood who came to save the dog. And then all the other residents over there, dozens of them, they all came out and they started abusing these two ladies, and everyone had their phones out, so they were making videos of this to post online and get likes. And then there was one man who seemed seemed a little bit drunk or hyper or something. So he just went crazy and he took off his slipper, I think, and he was going to beat that woman. And there were just other people around who were stopping him. So that was quite a crazy video to watch. And now the internet is going crazy about this situation because it keeps happening in different places. In my own neighborhood, I see that around this neighborhood we see people peeing on the sides of the roads. Okay, but that is all acceptable for all humans. Nobody is stopping them from doing that. But when a dog goes and pees on the same place, then suddenly they start abusing the dog or throwing stones or something. So why is this happening? What is the difference in this? And why do people beat dogs? Why was that man ready to beat that woman? And what does that lead to? What is the next step? After beating a dog, you beat a woman, you beat a child, and then what? You become a terrorist, or maybe even worse, whatever worse can be. So this is an important topic. It keeps happening in different places every year, and people need to understand all the situation, how to handle it in a sensitive manner, because just because you've not had good experience with dogs, so that probably increases the fear. I've seen so many people, so many children and adults also, who have never had any bad experience. No dog has ever bitten them, but still they are scared of dogs, and they are dog haters just because of that. So why is that happening? Why are they fearing all the dogs without having a bad experience? It's because when they're kids and then the parents keep telling them that stay away from the dogs will bite you, don't go near those dogs, or don't play with the dogs, maybe the dog will bite you. So like that, the kids get conditioned to stay away from the dogs, and then they end up fearing the dogs. I've seen a small puppy coming with wagging its tail, and one lady started screaming because she got scared that the dog is going to eat her up. So it's really funny, and it's also sad at the same time. So it's humans and dogs have had this companionship since millions of years. They say dog is a man's best friend. They also say diamonds are a girl's best friend. But that's a joke. Anyway, there was a crazy story that Bahar Dutt had posted upon Twitter. It was a picture of this dead shark. So if you have a chance, go check it out on Google, check it out on Twitter, check out the story, what it's all about. There are people, hunting sharks for shark fins and other stuff. So it's a quite well written article. I won't go over it right now, but you guys can go and check it out online. And lastly, there was this story about 200,000 kgs of plastic was removed from the Pacific garbage patch. There's this Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and it spreads for several kilometers, and it's so big. It's got all the plastic from all the different oceans. Because of the ocean currents, they all land up at one particular place, and that place is called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. So it's just a bunch of plastic floating around there, and now because of efforts of a lot of good people out there, they're removing all the plastic from there. And there's different sorts of plastics, all different sizes. I saw from bottles and stuff to all the way to big baskets and even bigger plastic objects. So all of that was floating in the sea, and a lot of it goes into the fish's stomachs also. So they get choked and they die because of that. So we are almost at the end of the podcast. Wanted to tell everybody to go check out our page on Instagram, check it out on YouTube. We've started posting our videos of this podcast on a separate channel now because of the algorithms, and on the other channel the algorithms were not so good because we had a long gap. That's why we've started a new channel where we're going to be more consistent, and that way we can use the system against itself, get some more views, and spread the knowledge everywhere so that we can make this world better together. So thank you all for listening, and have a great day if it's your birthday, and happy birthday. Okay, thank you for listening. Bye bye.